will be presented tomorrow night here in Second Baptist Church in Bloomington. We're sitting here talking. I have to my right Mr. Joe Fulson, who plays the double. To my left, Mrs. Marguerite Hatcher, who is the originator and director of In the Rapture. Next to her, Dr. Herman Hudson, Afro-American Arts Institute. And then Mrs. Gwen Parrish, who is the narrator of it. Mr. William Hatcher, who produces and makes all the sets. Mr. Willie Brown, who is a young man who is working his way up in the family of the Rapture. He has played on various occasions the center. Next to him is the central, the major musician, Mr. Bill Duncan. And next to him is his apprentice of a young lady who does very well, 14 years old, Miss Pam Davis. And on the end is Mr. Andy Krim, who plays Everyman of the center. We will be talking about In the Rapture. We begin by asking Ms. Hatcher, how did this come to you?
Well, it came to me as I don't say it was a dream, but it came to me as a sort of a vision. I had heard this song sung by Shirley Caesar on the radio. And, you know, every time you hear something, you wonder, is it true or what is it all about? And to me, In the Rapture was sort of like uplet up. It just means he's caught up, and it means that he's coming back again. And so I began to think a lot about a Christian's life and the trials and the tribulations that they had. And to me came the songs, and the songs, putting the words of the songs into action, making the prayers, asking the prayers to portray their part, put their feeling in it, and making the song come alive as Christians do.
You know, one night we were sitting at home, I was watching TV, and I was talking to her, and she went off to sleep, and then I wakened her up, and she went upstairs and went to bed. So, about an hour passed, I guess, and she came down. She said, I had a dream, or I had something that came over me, and I want to write a play. And said, and I got some parts in it I want you to make different things for me. And I said, what was it? And they said, I dreamt about a heart being broke. I dreamt about them climbing a mountain. And the song, she said the song was, and it was the song that Shirley Caesar sang. Say, I can't think of it. I think it's In the Rapture. And I said, what kind of heart do you want me to make? And she said, I want to make a heart that you can break it and put it back together again. So I thought on it. I said, I don't know how to make a heart, you break it and put it back together again. I thought about using paper, and then I thought about using different things. And I came up with the idea of using plywood with nails in it. Well, you cut it half in two and then put it back after you break it. Then I made up some mountains and things out of plywood.
When we first started off, we were just the Church of the Living God Mass Choir and Northside New Era Young Adult Choir. And we went that way for 2 years. And other people wanted to join us, but they felt shut out because it was just the two particular choirs. So the next following year, and I got to thinking, I said, well, this is not right. I said, because if we can't all sing together, how can we all, pray together? And we can't. If anyone wants to come, let them come. So the next year I made it a voluntary, after talking to Brother Duncan and several other people, made it voluntarily. Whosoever will, let them come. And they come, and we just hold them on them. And I think we have helped a lot of them just open up our hearts. They say, I can't do this. We don't use the word can't. We try. And then with everybody pushing the other one or supporting them, this is the way we come. We come a mighty long way just from putting our arms around each other. For instance, Sister Pamela Davis, when we approached her about praying, she couldn't do it. I can't do it. And I said, oh, yes, you can. You try. And the mother used to say, well, Mrs. Hatcher, Sister Hatcher, you asked her to pray. She won't pray for me, but she played. And with Brother Duncan's help, she came on to it. So this is why I say this is what we're for, to help.
Also, like I say, I think the Rapture went a long way, because I didn't have no idea in the world that we'd ever be filming nothing like this. And if it had told me that, I'd have told them, oh no, you're wrong. Because I thought it was just a one-night stand. This thing been going 9 years, and we could go every Sunday if necessary. I mean, people just call constantly. But I thank God that somebody saw some good in it. I mean, like I said, we have went to Michigan and heck, and get up there, and the guy had a big Coliseum. And man, he didn't have enough people in there to even start filling the thing up. and only get the Rapture back home. So, I mean, we stuck together, though. We fought it out, and things look like it's getting open up for us.
I must say this, if I can, if I may. One thing about my husband, I can say this, the Rapture has helped him. Because when you see this, so many times he's been a very hot-tempered man in his life because he played ball. And you know how men ball people play what they can say and do. And he got so discouraged sometimes, because sometimes we've been down to 15 people. He'll say, Ring, I wasn't fooled with it. I look at him, he says, she's not hearing me. I go right on. I said, Lord didn't stop. He didn't tell me to stop. Several people have approached me, why don't you stop the Rapture? Until God says stop it. And I keep right on going. And thank God for those like Brother Crim and Brother Fulson and Sister Parrish and Reverend Duncan. I want to call him a minister, call him Reverend. He may be a minister one day. They've always been there to support me. And Brother Duncan has been so tired sometimes, because he not only prays for the Rapture, he prays for our church, and he has other things to do. He works and he goes to school. He said, I don't know. And look up, he's right there. So.
Well, we've got the author there, Mr. Hatcher, and maybe he could say something about how the way Jesus is going to come out. What happened?
Well, last night when we was down here, we had him coming out of one place. We had him coming from where the altar's sitting there now, and someone brought up the idea. They didn't think he could work there, and I was sitting back there listening to him. And so I got up and went to where the pool, I imagine this was supposed to be a pool there, and looked in there. I said, well, we'll see if we can make him come out of there. So we intend tomorrow, we're going to bring him through that. If we can get that door open, we're going to bring him out that way, through that opening there, and let him come in instead of coming down this way.
Yes, I might add, they've been down here several times and looked at it. That idea just came up.
Yeah, also we was here, we drew a little diagram of how we want to set up everything, and we give it to the cameraman. And when he came down, he was going by a diagram. I think we got him kind of we're going to change the things around on it. And, sometimes, you look at it one way, and then after you kind of go through it, you can see where you can do a little better and get more out of it if you, sit down and put your mind to it. Now, like today, I've been down in the church ever since, 10 o'clock this morning. And, trying to watch different things, see what I could do to kind of make it a little better, make it easier on the kids, which we have. We've got a whole lot of young kids in here. And, you kind of got to look out after them and take them under your wing, And so, try to make it easy all the way around for everyone.
Well, now, what were some of the special things you had to do for this performance that will be coming up tomorrow?
Make new risers to get into the choir stand. We'd like to come straight down the aisle and right on into the choir stand. It's like you're going up and then down. It's what they say you go up in the Rapture, down in the Rapture, one way or other. So I try to make them going up and down. So I built a stairway so it would go up. Now Clifford was telling me tonight that he thought it was too high. And so I don't know, we may change it tomorrow and get a little lower. But I had to make new steps there, and we had to move the organ and change things around to get, it's kind of tight place to get them in here. I think we got about 90 up there, tonight. I think the first set of wings I made was out of cardboard and was covered with paper. And we made the feathers out of a lot of paper, and then the next time we made it out of chicken wire. And we covered it with paper for shape. And so the girl said it was too heavy, so we went into something else. So now we've gone into making them out of wire, which I sit here tonight and made a little set for my little granddaughter. She's one of the angels. I made these out of coat hangers while I was sitting back there in the back of the church. And so all our scenery was made on cardboard, paper, plywood, or anything we could get over to a big bar. And I had a fellow friend of mine's worked with me. He's a pretty good artist. He helped draw a whole lot of the scenery, you see.
Mr. Hatcher, I think you have, in addition to sets, you've also acted and sung in the cast.
Yeah, I played Jesus one night. And we was in Marion, Indiana. I think in Marion College, and we was in Marion, and Clifford was late getting there, and we wanted to start, and the people was getting on pins and needles. I said, well, I'll take the part. Well, I played Jesus, and I think the microphones and the amplifier started acting up, and I got up and went and fixed it. And I know Reverend Hawkins said, that's the first Jesus I ever seen get up and go fix the microphones, the amplifier, and everything else. And I think I played Jesus, and I played, what else? Well, I sung once or twice with him. And, well, you see me dotting around here fixing things, but tonight I had it pretty easy with the guys setting up the mics and things. I didn't have to worry about it. That was a big load off my mind.
Well, your presentation of the devil, the way you present it, is very different from the traditional image of the figure with the tail and the horns and so forth. In other words, the devil that would be in a play like, say, Heaven Bound that's put on in Atlanta. How did you develop that concept of the devil?
Well, first of all, I didn't have no red suit. So I said, well, if I want to play this part, I just get me a high hat, and cape, sunglasses, so I look mysterious or something like that, and just tiptoe across the stage, try to pull people back, keep people going into heaven and so forth.
Also, one time at I think it's Northside New Era. I think about the first or second time we had it, near the end, I think it sung "Oh Happy Day," and I happened to look up in the choir stand, and the devil had took off his robe and was up there in his T-shirt. He just got happy and was in the choir singing.
You had some good time.
That's a real good conversion.
Well, as it went on, we started off we didn't talk, but as it went on, we just kind of mumbled something toward with each other, and finally we just started talking out, trying to add something on to it as we went along.
When we first started, we were just mumbling and more or less just working our hands. But it didn't seem to win over with me. I don't know about Joe. But when we started talking to each other, you get more of a feeling out of it, and you can bring more action into it, and portray the person that you're trying to be.
They have gotten in their backyard and practiced what they were going to do and how they were going to do it. This thing has got to be real to them, because Joe, when he first asked about what should he wear and would this cape be all right, and I told him yes, because this is the way you have to approach people now. They have to see it modernistic. Long time ago, they thought that the devil, that's all we had, that's what we were taught, that the devil was him. But it could be you or I, human beings, and so this is what they look for. But Joe was bringing it just the way the modernistic time, because this is the way you have to do.
Originally, I wasn't the narrator. I was supposed to sing in the choir, and the narrator was a radio announcer at that time, and when it was time for the pageant to start, he wasn't there, and we waited for a while, and they said, well, hey, we've got to go ahead. When can you do it? And I said, well, I'll try. And I said, okay, Lord, let's go. And they gave me a sheet of paper with a list of songs on it, and he came in a little after we had started, and he said that he couldn't do very well extemporaneous, so he asked me if I would help him that particular night, and after that he asked me if I would help him all the time, and he stayed with us for a good while, and then he dropped out, and I took over completely.
She didn't mention the radio announcer's name, and Milt Nixon was his name, and he was a good announcer. I mean, he just make you, oh boy, when he gets to announcing, it look like the whole thing's gonna fall apart, and he just died out. We couldn't find him. We've been looking for him because we like to bring him back once and have something for him. But we can't locate him. I don't know where he is. But he was a heck of an announcer.
As Gwen, sometimes she says she never changes, but I've heard her change several times. She has even taken the words at a ball game to show it, compare it to the way of serving the Lord. Last Sunday, she put it down to taking dope, but she brought it on out to where it was for the benefit of serving the Lord. And see, all these things today, you can get closer to the youth of today when you bring it down to their lingo, as I can say. And this is the way that we're doing it.
Most of it I relate a lot from my personal experiences, which I feel are representative of man's experiences, period. And I have a very strong feeling that if I strive to do the thing that's right, that the Lord will always just kind of be with me and guide me and give me what to say when the time comes.
Well, do you change it from time to time when In the Rapture is being put on in different places, or do you pretty much stick to the same words?
I stick quite a bit to the same thing, and then at the same time I make changes. It depends on what I'm going through personally, different experiences I've had, and I may change every now and then go back. It just kind of depends on when I come into a church, the spirit that I pick up, the mood that I'm in, and what I feel at that particular time. So I just don't ever know ahead of time which way I'm going to go until I'm there. I am not the type of person that can just kind of make up stories. I have to relate something that's real, because if I can't feel it or understand it, I just can't do it. On a lot of the songs, even if I don't have a full understanding of what that song is really saying, I go home and I ask the Lord before I can explain or narrate that song to someone else to give me an understanding of what it's saying. And in every experience, I work around a lot of young people. I work at a swimming pool. I work at the Marion County Juvenile Center. And I'm around a lot of young people and their problems. And from the things that they encounter and the things that I encounter myself, I just draw from these experiences and then relate to that. And I found that people are basically searching for something. And we're using all different methods. And in the things that I find that people are using in the world, the things that we call sin, they're doing the same thing that we're doing. They're trying to find an answer and trying to find a way. And I relate the things that cause them problems to try, and as they try to find the answer, to the fact that Jesus is the answer. As she was speaking about the dope incident, a young man offered me some marijuana, and he told me everything that it did for him. And as I listened to him telling what it did for him, I realized that what it did for him on a temporary basis is what the love of God is doing in my life, day to day and step by step. Not perfectly, because I'm not perfect, but progressively. And these are just the things that I relate, just everyday experiences that I come encounter with.
Well, now, certainly a major part of this production, not only is the spoken word, not only is the beauty of dance and improvisation and talk, but music, very definitely. And, well, Brother Duncan's here. What about the songs? How are they selected?
She more or less dictate what song that she wanted to use. And I don't think, in the beginning, we used several songs, and those that had good acting parts too, she more or less kept. And it's about 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 numbers that we alternate several times, depending on who we have present.
But it's accordingly to who. I used to talk to Joe and ask him, and because he's the one that knows the soloists, and when you work like that, if it's someone that he thinks don't do it, I leave that up to him, and I always go to him and get his. I respect him as in his job to get his consent about anything like that along the music line.
You say something about that paper. How many pieces of paper do they need to have in the Rapture? Tell them what you do. Write on that paper.
usually that paper don't get made up until I get to the church. So my husband said, "Can't you make the list out?" I said, "Well, I said, I haven't got it yet." And then I walked in the door. He said, "Have you got the list made out?" I usually have to make 5, one for Brother Duncan, one for Pam, one for Sister Gwendolyn Parrish, and one, I used to carry one myself, but I used to get it in my head. And we always try to let the devil have one so they can know without, anyone repping what's coming up. So sometimes I don't get it wrote up to just before they go in, and then and I'll say, "Well, this is it." And I tell Gwen, and it changes, we'll let you know. And it varies sometimes, and then it's according to how the church is with us. Sometimes every time you walk in a place, you wonder how everybody's going to accept it. But after we march in, we know. And then it goes on, usually like it did tonight. If it seems like something wrong, it'll hit, or either if it hits Sister Parrish, or if it hit me, sometimes Brother Duncan will just start playing a song, and then that choir just coming with it. It's just whatever is in the mood.
When was the last time In the Rapture has been included in the performance?
About 3-4 Sundays ago. And occasionally we put it back in there. And this is a song that we would like to keep in there, but certain circumstances sometimes we're just not able to render all the numbers that should be in there. Sister Hatcher's daughter leads there, and fortunately we haven't. A lot of times she gets sick, or she have a certain ailment, and we just haven't had someone to really get in the number like it should be sung, like she did, and consequently we just leave it out.
Let me ask you, you shared with us, didn't you talk with Miss Caesar?
Oh, yes, I talked with Miss Shirley Caesar, about this first year that we had it. And we were given a presentation for the Nurses Guild of our church at Christopher Addis High School when she came in town. And we were trying to get her to come back and be on that program because we were expecting a large crowd. Which at the time she said that if she was on a tour, and so that she could arrange her tour, that she would fly in to be with us that night. But with the cost and what she said on us, we just couldn't hardly, do it because we, as I said, we are no money making. We just do it for the glorification of God. A lot of times we don't get anything, but we have our service, and that's all that matters. And we just wanted her to come, to kind of to do In the Rapture for us. And we just couldn't, meet her demand at that time.
You have this alternating of singers, one facing this way and the other facing the other way, and then the rocking motion and the pulling, of course, when they get up here. I haven't seen that before, and could I ask Brother Duncan, have you seen any choirs do that before, or how did that all start, as a musician?
No, I think Sister Hatcher got this from when Jesus reached out and his hand to sinking Peter to pull him up. I think this is where she got the rocking from.
I think we, like Brother Duncan said, we came from the song, and I came up with the idea that I think it was Church of the Living God. One face one, turn it back. Every other one be turned the opposite way, and make a chain, something like a chain. And sometimes they get to rocking too much. Now, like tonight, I told them we don't want to be rocking too much. Now we want to make it look like, because I had heard people in church. Now you hear a lot of things in the churches when you have this play. I heard a lady one time in church say, "What they gonna do? Dance?" And I mean, you listen to those things, and then you go back and try to improve on. You say, "Well, don't." Maybe somebody's rocking too much, so kind of cut it down a little bit. Now, and not intentionally. They're not trying to do it. It just gets into the song, and they let go. That's all.
It's just like the song says, "Don't be afraid." And the person is making it in, and the person he's reaching back for is pulling back that he's afraid to cross over the water. And this is why they're helping him. And usually you see the angel reach for the first one. This first one has gotten his strength from the angel, and then he wants to pass it on to his brother. And the reason they turn that way is to see that they're opposites. You know, I'm on my way, and then when they get up here, they turn straight and come in. It's this idea of what the song says. Don't be afraid. And this is what Jesus was talking to Peter when he was out on the water.
Have you always come in like that? That's the way you've always been introduced? Coming in as the last one of this line here?
The last one, yes.
And you've always been in the center here. That's
Trying to hold him back.
You know, Mrs. Hatcher, she was saying something about the spirit that moves her when she is carrying on the narrative parts between songs. I noticed that tonight, even though it was a rehearsal, many of the performers felt the spirit, even got happy. Is that really the way the In the Rapture group performs? It's not really a performance, is it? It's more like, would you say, a religious service?
This is the way it is. We pray, we have our devotion, we ask God to use us, but we turn ourselves completely. It's a song that they sang now, Jesus will work it out, and this is what we depend on, Jesus doing it. We used to have our devotion, and everyone, as I say, I can't tell them what to do. They give the song, Sister Gwen does her narrating, but everyone puts their whole body and soul in it with the Lord's help. And I thank God that I can say, along with Brother Duncan, he has took several times as the guy that sang Calvary, Sister Gwen Hubbard's brother, Harris' brother, he's not able to be with us, but Brother Duncan filled in for him. He filled in for the boy that sings in the mountain. He filled in for everything if everybody's not there. This is why I say we don't let not one person, whatever God so lets them do, whatever they feel like doing, this is what happens. We just let God step in and take over. We're not ashamed. We're telling a story, and we believe in the story we tell it. It's an everyday Christian life, and we try to fulfill it. You know, that says it. Because we're looking forward to that day of being called up with Jesus in the rapture. And we're just, all of them. I mean, I just wish I could express my feelings like I want to. I say I'm not much of a talker, but nevertheless, this is how we work, through the Holy Spirit. And once it hits one, it rubs off on all the other. You know, I don't like for anyone to say the children or this one or that one. I always say, who are you talking about, the Rapture family? Because we are a family. We share each other's problems. If one is, we had an incident that came up about 3 weeks ago. One of our singers had a little problem, and we just wasn't satisfied until the Rapture family went to work, and we got him together, and he's doing all right. Each one of them has a certain place in our heart, and whatever we can do, and wherever they're at, don't care. They're still ours. We never let them. I don't care what incident they have gotten into. We don't care how they have fallen. We put our arms around them and let them know that we love them, and we keep them on. You know, like in some churches, you can't do this because you this. In some churches, you can't sing in the choir only kind of this. Our choir is not like this. This is when a person has a problem. This is when we should be close together, and we try to show our Rapture family that this is why we are. And I don't like to hear anyone say the Rapture. I always say the Rapture family.